Ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody out there who is coming down and embarking upon this final week of fantasy football before the playoffs begin. I know someone such as myself, when I first entered the world of fantasy football, I thought that I got the whole entire season. And then I was like, I guess we'll figure it out once the playoffs for the NFL actually start. But no, man. Oh, man, this has been a great journey. Um, this has been a great journey. I'm gonna deep dive into Sedacious' situation. Sedacious, if I'm wrong, and it sounds like I'm being out here, obviously call me out on it. But me personally, I feel like you're by far probably the luckiest person in fantasy football because I think you've been on the road, not even paying attention to your fantasy football league, and you just been having guys play out their absolute mind.
You wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, you talking.
Okay, before you keep going, was there ever a spill throughout this season where like you lost track of like, oh, my lineup, or
Yeah. That's what you hit me up. You hit me up. It was like fantasy football, bro. Because it was like what week 3, week 4, where like I had a whole bunch of people finna have a bye week, and I was finna just give up that
but
week.
that's what I'm saying though. That's what I'm talking about. But maybe or is you just saying that was only that 1 week that happened before you tapped back
Yeah,
in?
right. Once that happened, I was like, oh no, I got to stay on top of this because I was finna just give a week up. You know what I mean? And like I said, that was like week 2 and week 3, and I started off a little rough, right? But once I start managing, I was like, okay, and I start climbing back. I think I'm number 3. I think Angelique probably beat me out for 2, and I'm number
Yeah,
3 right now.
yeah. Right now, in our fantasy league, we got in the league. I don't. Is Bronx Brom? Is that your cousin or your coworker, Darnell?
That's my cousin-in-law.
A cousin-in-law. Shout out to Bronx Bombers. He's 11-2. He's number one. Shout out to the wife, Angelique. She is 8-5. Sedacious. She's at number 2. Her and Sedacious record is tied, but Angelique edges out Sedacious with fantasy points on the season. Sedacious also 8-5. Black Peace, Darnell, he's at 7-6 at the 4 seed. I'm at number 5, 7-6 as well. Darnell edges me out in fantasy points overall on the season. And our brother Shine Hard, I definitely he not on, but definitely have to tip your hat and triple salute Shine Hard Israel because you talk about Sedacious started off with Isaac's for like the first 3 or 4 weeks was like 9-10. Like we got a 10-man league. So Isaac was like 9-10 for like 4 or 5 straight weeks and has jumped leaps and bounds. Like so
I said,
so
watch
much
out for him.
so much so to the point where I felt like had I won this past week, I was in the clear to make the playoffs. But even if I lose this upcoming week, I could be out because Isaac has amassed so many fantasy points throughout the season. Has made some bold moves in terms of like playing Kyler Murray when he coming back off the ACL injury, playing what's his name, Justin Fields at the right time because you know how fickle his production could
Right.
be at times.
He benched Justin Fields.
But at once upon a time, he played him and came and pulled out some wins. Is what I'm saying. But I think he probably got him a free weight in waiver
Well, I'm just
wise.
saying when Justin Fields started playing pool, for him to make the executive decision to be like, yeah, nah, he got to
we
go.
never, yeah, we never
Yeah,
see
right,
what you.
I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm trying to win.
But yeah, but Isaac is right behind me at 6 or 7. How nice would it be for all of us to be able to make the playoffs together? That would be dope. That would be dope.
Right, talking a little bit more trash.
Yeah, talk a bit
How
more
many
trash.
teams you can be in the playoffs? 4.
Nah, 6. Top 6 make the playoffs.
Oh wow!
Yeah, top 6 makes the playoffs. The first top 2 seeds get a bye week. So the way it's set up is if all of us made the playoffs with the rankings how they currently are, you and Isaac will play each other round one. Me and Darnell would face each other round two, and the wife and Bronx Bombers would have a bye week to start off. But yeah, I personally hope that I just get some good fortune for my last game of the season. Because my brother, this is his first year. I help him. He has 2 wins this season. He's 2-11. He has 2 wins this entire fantasy football season. One of his wins comes off of me helping him orchestrate his roster the same week he was beating me. And that's the thanks I get for just trying to be a good brother, and Jamar Chase having the absolute game of his life. Also to the guy, I don't know if y'all saw this, but there's a dude out on social media who posted this tweet. Nico Collins, we're gonna talk about the Texans here in a few. Shout out to Nico Collins, my #1 receiver on fantasy, has yet to fail me. I also want to say to Christian Kirk, thank you for all you did for me this season. I know you probably done with the injury that you had against. Who was that played last night? The Bengals, yeah, the Bengals. Yeah, appreciate you for all you've done for me this season. Christian Kirk definitely came in the clutch for me. Nico Collins had a day. The Dallas Cowboys, they give up 34 plus points to the Seattle Seahawks. And I can't, it's like I want to be mad at them, but the Cowboys defense got me out of so many jams this season in fantasy, bro. Bro, like for them to finally have a game where, yeah, man, it was tough, bro. Like to start off behind the A-ball -1 because the Cowboys just let DK Metcalf do whatever he wanted to do. That was tough. But I said all that to say Nico Collins came through in the clutch because he put up 34 fantasy points for me against the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos have been on a tear. They have been on a tear, neutralizing quarterbacks. I lost one game this season because the Denver Broncos held Patrick Mahomes to 5 fantasy points. And so this dude, Nico Collins had put up 34 fantasy points, 109, 190. He had 191 receiving yards for 1 touchdown and 34 fantasy points. 34.10 to be exact. All right. Now put this in this proper perspective because I feel bad for the dude who was out there in this situation. Where is DK Metcalf at? What did DK have this season? Not this season, this past week. Oh, against your Cowboys today. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, he scored a touchdown for sure. I was upset about it. So
No. He didn't score 8 touchdowns. He scored 3 touchdowns. DK Metcalf has 134 receiving yards for 3 touchdowns, right? Totaling out to 37 fantasy points. 37.40 to be exact. And again, DK Metcalf against the Dallas Cowboys had 134 receiving yards for 3 touchdowns. Mind you, going into that game, he had only had 3 touchdowns on the whole entire season, and he ended up getting 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So this guy, paraphrasing a bit, this guy had posted this tweet after Nico Collins went off for 191, a touchdown, and 34 fantasy points. This dude had tweeted out, Nico Collins' 34 fantasy points is the most points I left on the bench since DK Metcalf's 37.40 points. And when I read it again, I was like, yo, This dude had both Nico Collins and DK Metcalf sitting on the bench when they both had the games of their lives. And so I with the wife being in fantasy as well, I had showed it to her. She was just like, dang, did he at least win? And we never got that information. That's a great question because I'd have been in situations like, dang, I left them points on the bench, but nonetheless I still won. So you're not really tripping at times. You know what I'm saying? When you leave points
last week I would have beat Angelique had I started Russ instead of start Justin Herbert. Right. I would have edged out, and I'm like, hey, Keenan Allen didn't do nothing. I could have put Cortland Sutton there.
Right. So to that tweet, old buddy who posted this tweet, I hope at least you making the playoffs. I hope you wasn't in like a groundbreaking.
Right.
Like I hope dude wasn't in a groundbreaking hunt trying to make the playoffs and he left them points on the bench. But nonetheless, we all want to know, at least us on the podcast want to know, did you at least win that week? Did you at least win that week? But even though you left those points of DK Metcalf 37 points and Nico Collins 34 on the bench. Did you win, man? Let us know, man. Let us know in the comments if you ended up winning despite leaving them points on the bench, man.